Sure, yeah, that's good. So I was brought into the company essentially to bring new ideas and more collaboration into the company. We've been around since the early 2000s, but we've never actually traditionally worked with any universities. And the CEO at the time wanted to get into new markets, more interaction with universities to bring new ideas in. So that's essentially what I do. I work with universities, bring new products from very early stages right up to manufacturing and then transfer them across. So one of the problems I have, as a lot of mature companies would find, is there is a certain reluctance to go outside. You know, this kind of not invented here syndrome. Working with academics, there's a certain negativity around that. So what I had to do was start at a very slow stage and work with Kappa to do a lot of tours, introduce the Kappa team to the company, have a lot of meetings. The tours, first of all, were with senior management, but what we also did was brought in the engineers, because they were kind of asking me, what are we doing work with these guys? So, like, you can't go straight into funding. You have to be very aware that one of the most difficult things in the company when you're going out and working with outsiders, whether it be consultants or academia, is that you have to bring people along with you. So Kappa have done this before, so it was quite good of them to work on this, and this created a lot of confidence in the company. And from that then, as we were looking around for projects, we found one to do. But again, you know, you want things to kind of run smoothly. So what we did was we went for the Enterprise Ireland feasibility study, which is 100% funded up to 10k. And what that did was kind of no risk for the company, so they could say, right, the guys can go off and do that. It gave a chance for the management and engineers to see the quality of the work that Kappa could do, and it kind of took some of the risk out of the main project if we were to go ahead, because that would involve the company actually putting a lot of money and resource into that project to bring it to fruition. So we did that with the EI funding, and from that then we went on to the Innovation Partnership, which was, you know, I think it was more than 230, but around 230, which meant we had to put in 30% of that funding. So at the time that was a fairly significant amount for the company, when, you know, they'd never done it before with a thing. So out of that we produced a system. It was basically for the printing industry. At the moment, these lasers are at a certain power level. We were able to double it using very cheap manufacturing methods. I mean, that was one of the key things that I think the company was surprised when the Kappa came back with the design, that it was actually easier to assemble than the laser modules we produce ourselves. And it met all the criteria. We were fairly high. So we got handover kind of January this year. We demoed it at a couple of shows. We've actually got 2 customers interested in this system now. And just to put it in context, I mean, these systems each are around, without any electronics, just the basic laser modules, they're around 30 grand each. So they're not cheap kind of systems. So we got a patent out of it. Sales team got the commercial interest, and now we're at the stage where we're transferring to manufacturing and actually talking to customers and hopefully getting out demos. So from that, actually, we've moved on, and we did another feasibility study, which is concluded, and we're working our way towards the next section of that in the project. Separate to that, then we started doing a 100% funded project by the company. So rather than going through getting government money, we've actually gone ahead and actually went straight to Kappa and asked for an automated test system that we needed. That's completed now. That was really software heavy. We just didn't have that particular software expertise in-house, and that essentially allowed us to do testing on this particular product, where at the moment it would take a PhD optical engineer about 2 weeks to do all the testing for one product. We're now down to getting a general operative to do it in an hour and a half, because it's all automated. And we're also looking at contracting as well, getting guys in on a temporary basis for projects where we don't feel we have the capacity to take someone on in that very specific piece of expertise, but we'll take someone on for 6 months to get a project up and running, get it out the door for a customer. So that's pretty much it, largely positive from our sense, and it's kind of a continuing relationship. I think as we go forward, we're kind of getting in more deeply embedded. I was just talking to Liam there today, and we're looking at getting into the IPIC program, which is a bit like an innovation partnership, but it's more of a long-term thing. And we've got two separate projects on that, both not more long-term, so positive from our sense.
Thanks, Ed.